Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Howies on a fantastic day today, so I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles. A couple things I definitely want to go over real quick. Not going to be a long one, really, today, since, it's a little quiet right now. The Eagles have been working, trying to get some depth, maybe getting some, low-risk, high-reward moves, but definitely a few things to definitely go over, so let's get into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? Your boy Joe SHAKESQUAD coming, guys, with a video right now. So yes, the Eagles have been a little bit quiet, not really filling too many spots right now, but only going to the second week of free agency, the legal tampering period. And yeah, a few things I definitely want to discuss. And when going into positions, which designates what we do in free agency, that designates what we do in the draft as well, going forward. And to let everybody know, I think the first thing we need to talk about is the cap space for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was updated. The Eagles have $13.9 million in cap space with all the moves that have happened so far. I actually thought they had a lot less than this. I didn't even think. I looked at another list and it said under 10 million, and I guess maybe I was wrong. Maybe it updated. Maybe certain sites don't update the cap as much, and it looks like they have 13.9. Still kind of waiting to see if the Eagles do want to do a restructure with Lane Johnson for $10 million. That's another one. So they'll have about, if they can get the restructure with Lane Johnson done, they can get about $10 million back. They'll have about $24 million. So it would be pretty good to get that done. And I don't know. I feel like something else is going to happen, whether it's a couple moves. So what we're looking into free agency right now and to the draft, what haven't the Eagles got so far? What positions do we really need still? I think they need another defensive end. I think they need two defensive tackles. They need an outside linebacker. And obviously, you signed Nicholas Morrow, that we'll get into this video a little bit later on his press conference. And it was a really good press conference. So I actually really like this guy a lot. Think it would be a nice piece for us. Good for coverage from what Sean Desai wants to do with this defense. And is a tackling machine as well. And going over the safety position, which I think is really important right now. And there were some rumors on Twitter, or at least some ideas on Twitter, that really made a lot of sense. And yeah, this is pretty cool, actually. There's some underrated moves that the Eagles can make, and there's some that probably a lot of fans are not going to be crazy about. So to get into all of that, the Antoine Winfield from the Bucks would be an interesting one for the Eagles. Does not cost much. He's only, 24, 25 years old. He's got one more year left on his contract. Okay, and if you look at the numbers right now for 2023, his base salary is $2.9 million. His cap number is only 3.7, which is pretty damn cheap, and plays at a high level. And this would be a very big, underrated move by the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman to get a guy like this. And yes, he would only be a pure rental for the year, unless he plays really well and, you want to make some changes and maybe you want to sign him long-term. There's 4 or 5 players you could restructure next year. Even with that Jalen Hurts contract growing through, the Eagles can make a lot of room in cap space next year if they really want. But, what are you going to have to give up for him? That's going to be the thing. If it's going to be a trade. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are $600,000 over the cap, so they need to free up some money right here. And if you look at pretty much cut pre-June, they'll get about $2.9 million if they cut him before June. If they cut him post-June, they'll get $2.9 million, almost the same thing. If they trade him pre-June, I think they get pretty much the same thing, either or, from what I'm looking at here, because I kind of updated to see what was going on. So they'll get over $2.5 million in cap space, whether it's a trade or a cut. But for a young player, come here on a 1-year deal and, kind of just, who knows? This could be a guy that you could re-sign after this year if you really want, which would be really interesting. So definitely something to look out for. There was a couple ideas on Twitter that I seen and looked at some contracts. You always got to look at the contracts, players that, especially if they're young and have one more, year left on their deal, and maybe they want to free up some cap space. Maybe they want to move on. It could be an enticing player for the Eagles to go get at a very big need at safety right now, with only having Kavon Wallace, Reed Blankenship, The new guy that we signed from the Saints, the other day, it's very injury prone, Justin Evans. But like I said, more depth. Don't know what he's going to do. Could play multiple positions, but Antoine Winfield would be an interesting player, and a very underrated move if they can get him for the money. Hopefully it's not going to cost much, but who knows? This is just an idea if they could get it done. Well, Rodney McLeod was on Good Morning Football, and it was asked about, and he's still a free agent as of right now. He was asked about, coming back to Philadelphia, and he said he would definitely welcome it. I know a lot of people didn't want to bring Jalen Mills back. A lot of people don't want to bring Rodney McLeod back. Rodney McLeod, we picked him up as a free agent in 2016, and he was a good player for us. Definitely, he had a lot of injuries. Won a Super Bowl with us. Good things came out of it. But is old now, is a lot older now, and he had an okay, couple years. What he signed, a 2-year deal with the Colts. I forgot what it was, a 1-year, 2-year, whatever it was. He played okay. He played all right. But he's gotta stay healthy, and I don't know if the fans or to the front office really want to bring somebody back that's just can they really count him to really be the guy back there, or more of a role-playing safety at this point? I mean, as long as you got your 2 outside corners, I feel better that we actually have 2 starting outside corners now, and the safety position we're really just trying to fill up since Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went to the Lions. And McLeod is just out there as another piece. This would honestly be like my last resort signing. You have Adrian Amos that's still out there. The Antoine Winfield situation would be a really nice trade for us. So this is just another option. I know we're not a big fan of bringing ex-Eagles from a long time ago back, and probably not the right move in my opinion. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of bringing Jalen Mills back as more of a depth safety piece. People were fighting me over, why don't you want him back as a starting safety, as a starting corner? I'm like, no, dude, I would never want him as a starting corner here, or at least depth for cornerback. I would strictly want him as a safety. He re-signed with the Patriots, so he was kind of pretty much off of the radar, unless he really wasn't on the radar in the first place, by the Philadelphia Eagles. This one, and honestly, looking at the wide receiver 3 position right now, Elijah Moore was actually released, or actually not released, but traded from the Jets to the Browns. The Jets gave up a 3rd rounder, and they got a 2nd rounder in return. And for a fact, the Eagles were not going to give a 2nd-round pick for Elijah Moore. Well, first news came out about Elijah Moore is that they were going to move him today, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. A.J. Brown, Elijah Moore, good friends, put him as the wide receiver 3, give Quez Watkins some competition, and they got a 2nd-round pick for him. And no way the Eagles were giving up a 2nd-round pick for Elijah Moore. Was not going to happen at all. So that's another receiver off the list for the Eagles to go get. DJ Chark is still out there in free agency right now. Whether they go for a guy like Marvin Mims in the draft, I don't know. Mid-rounds, but we don't have any mid-round picks right now. So hard for me to say what they're going to do later on in this draft. Hence why trading back from 30 is probably going to be a big possibility for this team, and trying to gather more picks and still get the player that they want moving back as well. So should be really interesting with that, but that one I was really shocked over on the compensation they got for him. And we don't know, Elijah Moore's wanted out from the Jets the past couple seasons, so he's off the market right now. And obviously going through the Nicholas Morrow press conference, and you can play inside, outside linebacker, want to come to a winner. And I think, guys want to play here as well, because this is a team that was just in the Super Bowl. And obviously he got firsthand last year. He's faced us before, looking at A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and the rest of these guys, what they could do. And I think it's going to be a really good fit here. The more I look at him, the more tape I watch of him, he is a tackling machine. He's pretty good in coverage. I think a lot of fans are saying he's more of a depth guy, and I kind of thought that in the beginning of it. But I think would be a really good compliment. He's only 27. He's the oldest linebacker we have right now, which is kind of insane. But always willing to give a chance. But I think they should definitely add another linebacker regardless. They should have a few in the room, because Sean Bradley is just a special teams guy. And I think they have Christian Ellis there as well, and he's only special teams, so there's not much. Davion Taylor kind of fell off. He's just more injury prone than anything now. Had a good 21 season and then fell off with the knee injury, then got hurt again last offseason. So there's really not much there. Maybe more competition will help the rest of this group, but Dean and Nicholas Morrow, I like this move a lot. I'm starting to like it more and more every day. Low risk, high reward signing, and could be really good for the Philadelphia Eagles. So as of right now, going from free agency to the draft, there's more time, where it's still early. It's only the second week of the legal tampering period. We still have some empty spots. Like I said, there's plenty of defensive ends on the free agent list right now with Jadeveon Clowney and Leonard Floyd. I mean, there's Yannick Ngakoue. There's a lot of names still out there that get a nice prime piece on the outside if they really want. And then in the inside, defensive tackle, only with Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, and Tuli Tali. Can't say his name. So need to add 2 more bodies to defensive tackle and out another linebacker if they can get it. Unless they think they're done, unless the Eagles are done at linebacker, then really all you have to get is a safety. So it's really not that bad defensively. I think it's going to get better. There has been some, fans have been kind of speculating that maybe you could trade Quez Watkins to the Tennessee Titans would be another move. If they want to try to, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get rid of Quez and get, a safety, with Kevin Byard, but they have to release him or trade him. And his cap hit is really big. He's getting paid a lot of money, and the Eagles would have to do a lot to his contract to get around it. And I don't know if they can even acquire him. They could probably move some stuff around, but I don't know if it's their best interest they want to do that. When it comes to Antoine Winfield, that's really cheap, and maybe you have to give away maybe a mid-round pick for next year, maybe one of our picks for next year or something like that, because we don't have any this year. I think this would be one of the most underrated moves the Eagles could actually make and get done if that's the case. So that's all I really got to say about it, guys. Other than that, it's gonna get interesting. The Eagles are not done yet. Even the Eagles said they're not done at the safety position. I kind of want to get safety straightened out more than anything else because I already know they have interest in offensive linemen and defensive tackles. Like I know they love the trenches, so I'm not really worried about that. That safety position is a glaring hole right now, and I don't trust really what's there. I like to see more of a counterpiece with Reed Blankenship as that, and then obviously a counterpiece to Jordan Davis as well, which we'll definitely talk about in later videos of who they could draft, or maybe they get a Quentin Jefferson on the defensive line that played for Seattle last year, 5.5 sacks, 29 tackles, 29 years old, sorry. So there's still a lot. The list is good for what the Eagles need free agency wise. They can get for cheap every day that goes by. These players get a lot cheaper. Could do it. Do I want to fill in this Band-Aid this position? I'd rather have Adrian Amos than Rodney McLeod right now. I'd rather have him than when Jalen Mills was available, so I totally get it. But, you have a draft to look forward to, too. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do for the safety position. If they want to touch linebacker again, if they think they're good with Nicholas Morrow, and obviously adding another defensive end, 2 defensive tackles. It's really not that much. Everyone makes a big deal about it, but, we're not depleted. Oh, my God, we're so empty. We're so depleted. We got nobody here. Just got to relax. I think we'll get things straightened out. We'll get things done, and it's going to be up to this defensive coordinator where this defense is going to go this year. We need creativity with the coaching. We can't rely on players to bail our defensive coordinator out another year. So that's the name of the game. So let me know what you guys think about the Antoine Winfield stuff. Would that be a great idea? What safety would you sign right now if you had the choice, or would you rely on the draft a lot for that position? And what other guys do you want on this team for the other needed positions right now? You guys have a fantastic day, and if you guys lasted this long, please subscribe to the channel, and please like the video as well. It does help out the channel a lot, and love you all. See you guys on the next one. Peace.